die cut in the centre that you can put together to kind of layer up. And by using this, you know you're going to get it perfectly placed every single time. It's fantastic. So, what I'm doing though today is I'm just going to run this all through, playing one card, and that's every single die that comes in the set. Now I'm doing everything in plain white because we're just going to do lots and lots of ink blending. Now the ink blending can really kind of step it up. And I mean, I've put away the inks. Why have I done that? I should have had them out so I knew which ones they were. Anyway, so for the actual flower, I am using Jazzleberry, Magenta and Peachy Keen. Now, Peachy Keen is a bit of a curveball because it's a kind of peachy orange colour, but honestly, it brings it together so beautifully. Here I'm demonstrating the largest kind of die cut. So I'm starting with the Jazzleberry. And you'll notice that actually I am popping the ink in the lid. And the reason for that is so that I get a nice soft blend, but completely optional. It's fantastic. So Jazzleberry, then Magenta, and then I'm going to finish it off with the Peachy Keen. And then I'm going to go back between the Peachy Keen and the Magenta, just smoothing out that ink blend. Now, Altenew ink pads are dye inks. Now, dye inks dye the cardstock, okay? So it's going to actually sink into the cardstock and change its colour. To get a good blend between multiple colours, it's just about adding ink over and over and over again, just so then the colours between kind of absorb into each other. It's science, which we're not here for. We're here for card making and fun. So yeah, you can see I'm just gone back to the Jazzleberry just to deepen that tone up, and then I'm going back with the Magenta, tapping off and going in. I think you see me abandon the lid idea because the dark Jazzleberry actually helps hide the rich ink straight off the ink pad. So in the end, I have nothing to be concerned about. But if I was leaving the tips white, as you can see now, I'd definitely be tapping off. Now, today's video is in collaboration with Altenew. Altenew is one of my favourite brands to work with. And actually, we've come together and decided that there's going to be a discount code for you guys, my followers, starting from today, the 17th of November, all the way up to the 24th of November. And that is a discount code. So the code is Martin10. So upon checkout, you can just go, put in your discount code of Martin10, and that gives you £10 off orders over £99. Alright? Now that code can only be used once for yourself, so once per basket, and what I'll do is I'll put a link down in the description that already incorporates that discount code. So if you were to add stuff to your basket up to $99, you're good to go because the code will automatically be added. So really thank you, Altenew. This is fantastic. You guys, I would recommend getting this Pink Star Tulip. It's new. I believe it was in the November release, and I love it. There's one thing Altenew does really well, and that's floral dyes. If you know, you know. So you can see here now I'm going between those two colours, the Peachy Keen and the Magenta, just rub it over and over and over and over and over. And now the colours look really intense, but they do fade back. So skipping ahead because you guys don't have all the time in the world. I mean, I recorded this video, it was literally 2 hours long. So I was like, yeah, we need to cut some of that out. So within the dies, you get these smaller elements, and these are the leaf turnovers. So you know when you have a flower, the edges of the petals are normally turned in or turned out a little bit. Well, this is the great detail of Altenew because they've already done the little turnovers, but as little die cuts for you just to add on to the tips of your flowers to really make it step up a little bit. Now I'm ink blending these in Peachy Keen. If I was to remake this card, I would potentially, and I'm saying this loosely because I don't know how it would look, go a little bit lighter. So maybe go an orange or even a yellow, just to add more contrast. But actually I love the way that it does coordinate brilliantly together. So you can see I've just used one of their blending brushes just to ink those up. And here's another thing, I use a little post-it note and I'm just going to do a blob of glue on there, and that's just going to help me kind of dab off any extra. And another top tip that I would give with Altenew dies is actually on the reverse, is how they suggest layering it up. So it says layer 1, and then you add these little bits, layer 2, then you add these little bits, layer 3, and so on and so forth. That's why you can see the instructions off to the side, because it's card making, it's not rocket science. We ain't messing around. Let's just read the instructions, put it together, and we're good to go. But you can see, even though that element is in there, Peachy Keen, it works so well and it does stand out. And it's just about adding a little more detail into it, which is just so adorable. And you can see I mess around with this a lot, but just by dipping it into that glue and then tapping it off, I'm not going to have any splurges out, because you all know what I want. When we use liquid glue and you pop it down and then you've got that little splurge, oh, it's the worst. It is genuinely the worst, because that's the one bit that you're going to stick your finger in, you got inky fingers, it's going to make a mess and it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good. But with this, you know it's going to look good because you're tapping it off, so you're not going to have any excess glue. And it's all going to be happy days. Now, what I would say is actually I'm quite new to Altenew's blending brushes, so shock horror. But I freaking love them. So I used 3 different sizes while making this card, and I don't actually know the names of them, but I'm trying to find it out. He says, Interweb's not coordinating with me today. But I'm impressed. I am honestly impressed. And they work really well with their dye inks. So, here we go. I use the detail blending brushes, which are angled bristles. Now, you get 3 in a pack. You get 5, 7, and 10. I'm guessing that's millage. I use the large blending brush with flat bristles. That's coming up at the end. Or towards the end, I should say, as well as the mini blending brush set, which they also now do a container for, which I need to get. Well, I need some more first. But honestly, these things are fantastic. And it does look like you can get the angled blending brushes separately. Hold on, that can't be right. So you can get them separately, and now this is in pounds, so excuse me, for £13, 13 plus 6, £19, or altogether for £10. Why would you buy them individually? Altenew, your maths is not mathing. But hey. Okay, take the bit, there you go, top tip. Buy the 3 together. But yeah, really impressive how they worked. And I just was like, I'm used to those kind of makeup brush ones, but actually, it talks for itself almost, that blend, because it is so good. It's so good. I really like it. It looks really dirty there. I don't know why it looks dirty, because it's not. It looks actually really pretty in person, having that peachy key. Now what I've done is the final bit I've popped up with 2 foam squares, but I'm also going to add a bit of liquid glue into the centre. Now the foam squares are on the tips, and that's just going to help give it some height and depth while having that centre point completely flat. And I'm just pressing it down with that blender brush. And it's so pretty. So pretty. And I even added some detail into, or texture into the leaves or petals by just rolling them slightly with my fingers, back and forth, back and forth. And it's those little things that really does step out the card. Now moving on to the leaves here. Now I cannot remember the colours. I want to go, I honestly don't remember. Mossy Meadow. There's me blowing a little bit of hair and everything goes flying. Why can't I remember the colours? Oh, it's going to annoy me until I can see it. Mountain Pine, Shadow Creek, and then Limerick or Limeade. Oh, it frustrates me. What you'll also notice is I'm working dark to light, and you might be like, that's backwards, you should go light to dark. And I would normally agree with you. But what I found is actually with these blending brushes, you get a little bit of residue ink remaining on there after you've blended it so far. Well, you get that with all blending brushes, not just these ones. But actually, using that ink to get a much more gradient tone, fantastic. Like, I see better effect with these blending brushes than I do with those makeup brushes. Now I'm going on to the final colour, which I'm going to say is, I think it's Limeade. Limeade. Limeade is not a colour. Is it a colour? We'll find out. But then I'm just going to finish it with this lightest colour on the tips. And just working it back and forth again with the Shadow Creek really just helps make a smooth blend. You can see there on that one leaf I have a bit of a line. I do go back in and work that out a little bit more, because it's like a makeup line. You don't want a makeup line. You know, when people don't blend it onto the next wrapping, you've just got a solid orange line. Yeah, we know. It happens. Can't be helped. Oh, it is Limeade. It is Limeade. Here we go. We got it. And it's just going to finish it off. So I did this one leaf, which is the one layering leaf in the set. I did all of this in Limeade, and then I went just down at the bottom with the Shadows Creek, and then the background bit only has a tiny little bit showing, so I did that in the Mountain Pine, which is really cute. And while we just wait for that, it's so weird watching myself make a card, just going back and forth. Here we go, this is what I said earlier. I went back to blend out that line a little bit, because your boy does not like a line. Now, can I also just say, it took me so long to decide on a colour for the background. Like, so long. I pulled out so many different colours. I kid you not, I had pink, I had purple, I had lights, whatever it's called, like green, and just nothing was working for me. So in the end, I ended up on this dark green, which is ever green. So it's a slightly darker than mountain pine. But we're going to go in and ink blend mountain pine using the large flat blending brush. As you can see, I'm just picking up some ink and then I'm going crazy. So I'm picking up that ink and I'm going like mad, and I'm going to create this like ombre effect from the bottom to the top, just to add a little bit of detail in the background. Just a little bit of detail, nothing too crazy, but it's just going to help base off our card a little bit, and it's really pretty. And actually I'm going to add more detail onto the background, so I adhered it down with some tape runner, and what I'm going to do off camera is actually heat the back of it to take off the tape runner. So by applying heat to any glue, we'll just make it really slippery. There you go. So I'm running through my big shot with an embossing folder, and actually this is me being silly because I didn't actually make the adhesive not sticky. So when I ran it through my big shot, not my big shot, my die cutting machine, it got stuck to the embossing folder. Smart, right? No, not smart. Very mounted on it. So then I'm grabbing that flower and you can just see how pretty it looks. But what I like about it is it really does stand out on that dark green background, and especially with the details of the embossing folder, it works so well. Now I'm grabbing the leaves and I'm cheating a little, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just copying the leaf layout that's on the front of the die set, because if it works, it works. If it ain't broken, don't change it. And it's just going to fill this space a lot, which is really nice. And it's just a little detail. So these are going straight flat onto our card, because sometimes too much depth is not a blessing, but I do like a bit of dimension. You guys know this. So adding those in, you can see the darker points with the ink blending are the bits closest to the floral, and that's just going to create some natural tone and light. But I just think it's so effective. This gorgeous, gorgeous dye, the pink star tulip, is wonderful, and I'm going to use it all the time. I know it, you know it. So pretty. And what I love is if you didn't want to ink blend it like I have, you could quite easily just do this in solid card and layer up different colours to create a fantastic floral. Now I'm grabbing my favourite sentiment strips from Altenew, which is the Love Labels. Now this was the first thing I actually had of Altenews, and I sat that in PGQ. I did go Jazzleberry to start, but I just couldn't get it to work. And you know what else I couldn't get to work? The positioning of this sentiment. Now, if I had planned out my card a little bit better, I would have moved the flower over a smidge. But instead, I just went rogue and just stuck the sentiment in the completely inappropriate place for all design concept, but it works, and it works well. So I'm doing 2 lots of dimension high, and that's just because I wanted it to really pop off the card. And shout out to Altenew adhesive. The foam adhesive rolls are my favourite thing, and if they are ever on sale, you know, your boys place in order because they're fantastic. I think I have about 4 rolls currently, and I'm on my 5th, and I know oh, this is just not enough. It makes me anxious. I need more. So I'm just grabbing a bit of twine, and I'm just gonna add a little bow because again, why not? It's cute. Just snip, snip, snap, snap. That's in place. I'm going to use the adhesive from the foam tape just to hold it in place. And that's all good to go. I'm trying to think what I might not have told you. I haven't told you that the embossing folder is called Luxurious Motif 3D embossing folder. It's gorgeous. It's kind of this circle effect with a pattern in between, which is like noughts and crosses. Love it. And it's so detailed and it really works with this umber effect. Now I could have just left the background tone on tone, but I feel just adding that interest, especially with the ombre, works well. Now card is never complete without an ink splatter, so I added an ink splatter, and then I'm finishing up with the iridescent stellar sequins. Now, you guys, these sequins, I have the iridescent, the pewter gold, sparkling gold, and dazzling diamonds. So I only have the 3, and I use these on every single card. Now, why do I use them on every single card? Because there is 6 sizes in each one, and they are fantastic. The biggest size, oh my god, it is what I have been waiting for all my life. Now, it comes in little Ziploc bags, but I brought these little containers just off of Amazon, and they fit perfectly in there, and I have them in stacks of the 6, and I just created my own like little labels to sit on top. It's fantastic, and why I chose the iridescent ones, clear iridescent, is because they have pinkish green tones, which really do pop out on this card. So when I look at this card now, I can see lots of like light green coming through from the card base, but the ones on the actual flower work great. Now that's the card. Don't forget to go shop at Altenew, use the discount code Martin10 and have a treat. Thank you for watching my video. Love to you all. Catch out some others. Bye.